namely, that you should take the name of Wurzel-flummery.
Robert!
I have the honor to be your obedient servant, Dennis Clifton.
Robert, whoever is he? I mean the one who's left you the money.
I have not the slightest idea, Margaret. Doubtless we shall find out before long. I have asked Mr. Dennis Clifton to come and see me.
Leaving you £50,000. Just fancy.
Wurzel-flummery.
We can have the second car now, dear, can't we? And what about moving? You know you always said you ought to be in a more central part. Mr. Robert Crawshaw, MP of Curzon Street, sounds so much more cabinety.
Mr. Robert Wurzel-flummery, MP of Curzon Street. I don't know what that sounds like.
I expect that's only a legal way of putting it, dear. They can't really expect us to change our names to Worsley-Fothergill.
Wurzel-flummery.
Yes, dear, didn't I say that? I am sure you could talk the solicitor round. This Mr. Dennis Clifton. After all, it doesn't matter to him what we call ourselves. Write him one of your letters, dear.
You don't seem to apprehend the situation, Margaret.
Yes, I do, dear. This Mr.
Anthony Clifton.
Yes, he's left you £50,000, together with the name of Worsley-Fothergill.
Oh, well, never mind.
Yes, well, you tell the solicitor that you will take the £50,000, but you don't want the name. It's too absurd, when everybody knows of Robert Crawshaw, MP, to expect you to call yourself Worsley-Fothergill.
Yes. The point is that this Mr. Clifton has left me the money on condition that I change my name. If I don't take the name, I don't take the money.
But is that legal?
Perfectly. It is often done. People change their names on succeeding to some property.
I thought it was only when your name was Moses and you changed it to Talbot.
Wurzel-flummery.
I wonder why he left you the money at all. Of course, it was very nice of him, dear. But if you didn't know him, why do you think he did it, dear?
I know no more than this letter. I suppose he had followed my career and was interested in it, and, being a man with no relations, felt that he could safely leave this money to me. No doubt Wurzel-flummery was his mother's maiden name, or the name of some other friend even dearer to him. He wished the name perpetuated, perhaps even recorded not unworthily in the history of our country, and made this will accordingly. In a way, it is kind of, a sacred trust.
Then of course you'll accept it, dear.
It requires some consideration. I have my career to think about, my duty to my country.
Of course, dear. Money is a great help in politics, isn't it?
Money wisely spent is a help in any profession. The view of riches which socialists and such like people profess to take is entirely ill-considered. A rich man who spends his money thoughtfully is serving his country as nobly as anybody.
Yes, dear. Then you think we could have that second car and the house in Curzon Street?
We must not be led away. £50,000 properly invested is only £2,000 a year. When you have deducted the income tax, and the tax on unearned income is extremely high just now.
Oh, but surely if we have to call ourselves Wurzel-flummery, it would count as earned income.
I fear not. Strictly speaking, all money is earned. Even if it is left to you by another, it is presumably left to you in recognition of certain outstanding qualities which you possess. But Parliament takes a different view. I do not for a moment say that £50,000 would not be welcome. £50 is certainly not to be sneezed at.
I should think not, indeed.
And without this preposterous condition attached, I should be pleased to accept this trust, and I would endeavour, Mr. Speaker, I would, Margaret, to carry it out to the best of my poor ability. But Wurzel-flummery!
You would soon get used to it, dear. I had to get used to the name of Crawshaw after I had been Debenham for 25 years. It is surprising how quickly it comes to you. I think I only signed my name Margaret Debenham once after I was married.
The cases are rather different, Margaret. Naturally, a woman who from her cradle looks forward to the day when she will change her name cannot have this feeling for the honor of his name which every man feels. Such a feeling is naturally more present in my own case, since I have been privileged to make the name of Crawshaw, in some degree, well known. I might almost say famous.
I used to be called the beautiful Miss Debenham of Leamington. Everybody in Leamington knew of me. Of course, I am very proud to be Mrs. Robert Crawshaw.
In a way, it would mean beginning all over again. It is half the battle in politics to get your name before the public. Whoever is this man Wurzel-flummery, people will say.
Anyhow, dear, let us look on the bright side. £50,000 is £50,000.
It is, Margaret, and no doubt it is my duty to accept it. But, well, all I say is that a gentleman would have left it without any conditions. Or at least he would merely have expressed his wish that I should take the name, without going so far as to enforce it. Then I could have looked at the matter all round in an impartial spirit.
The linen is marked RMC now. Of course, we should have to have that altered. Do you think RMF would do, or would it have to be RMW-F?
What? Oh, yes, there will be a good deal of that to attend to. I think, Margaret, I had better talk to Richard about this. Of course, it would be absurd to refuse the money, but, well, I should like to have his opinion.
Do you think he would be very sympathetic, dear? He makes jokes about serious things, like bishops and hunting, just as if they weren't at all serious.
I wish to talk to him just to obtain a new point of view. I do not hold myself in the least bound to act on anything he says. I regard him as a constituent, Margaret.
Then I will send him to you.
Margaret, what do you really feel about it?
Just whatever you feel, Robert.
Thank you, Margaret. You are a good wife to me. Crawshaw goes to his desk and selects a who's who from a little pile of reference books on it. He walks round to his chair, sits down in it, and begins to turn the pages, murmuring names beginning with C to himself as he gets near the place. When he finds it, he murmurs, "Clifton. That's funny," and closes the book. Evidently the publishers have failed him. Well, what's the news? Been left a fortune? Yes, by a Mr. Anthony Clifton. I never met him, and I know nothing about him. Not really? Well, I congratulate you. To them that hath. But what on earth do you want my advice about? There is a slight condition attached. Oh. The condition is that with this money, £50,000, I take the name of Wurzel-flummery. What? I said it quite distinctly. Wurzel-flummery. Richard, in awed silence, walks over to the desk and stands looking down at the unhappy Crawshaw. He throws out his left hand as if introducing him. Mr. Robert Wurzel-flummery, M.P., one of the most prominent of our younger parliamentarians. Oh, you! Oh, how too heavenly! He goes back to his seat, looks up, and catches Crawshaw's eye, then breaks down altogether. Shall we discuss it seriously, or shall we leave it? And how can we discuss